Okay, chicos, we are going to talk today about how to form commands in Spanish. The Spanish word for commands is mandatos. There are a lot of different types of commands. We're going to focus on the informal tú commands, as in telling one person, you do this. There are a lot of others. We'll get to those eventually. We're going to break these two commands into two categories. Afirmativo, telling someone to do something, or negativo, telling someone not to do something. They look pretty different, so it's important to keep them separate. For a normal verb, you just use the el, ella, usted form of the present tense. So for example, for a verb like cargar, that would be carga, that's your command, charge. Enchufa, escribe, so it's just a regular verb. If it's a boot verb, you're still just using the regular present tense. So cerrar, to close, would be cierra. Just whatever the present tense LA usted form looks like, that's what it looks like. So take a minute right now. I'd like you to write down what you think the command would be for three verbs. Organize, use, and open. Go ahead and pause this. There are several irregular afirmativos. These are still telling people to do things. They're usually really common verbs that you would expect to be irregular, to do, to put, to have. They have a lot of unusual things with them in whatever form we're putting the verb. And they tend to be like really short, one-syllable type things. All right, so as, pon, ten, decir is just the. Right? So there are more than this, but just gives you an idea of what they look like. All right, next sort of category we're going to look at here under the afirmativos still, right, telling people to do things, are reflexivos, okay, which we know look like this in the infinitive, right, levantarse, sentarse, ponerse. Really what you're going to do is you're going to do a normal, follow the rule for the verb the way it would be. So if it was levantar, levanta would be that LA usted. Sentar would be sienta, because it's a stem-changing verb. Or poner, which we just saw on the irregulars here, right, is pon. Right, so we're just going to take whatever that is and put the te onto the end of it. Okay, so levantate, which you've heard before, siéntate, ponte. You can pause the video right now, and I want you to write a command for two verbs from your Tecnología verb list. One is the verb that means to sign in. The other is the verb that means to get organized. Okay, you just learned about direct object pronouns. So if you're doing an action to a thing, right, that's the direct object. And if you're just saying it or them, you would use these words. We've been practicing these. If you are using a direct object pronoun with a command, just like you just did with the reflexivos here, and also, as you know, you follow this rule with the infinitivos, with a command, with a mandato, you stick your direct object pronoun on the end. So you can see we have escribe would be the regular command. The las, if we were saying like las cartas, write some letters, right? Escribe las cartas, escríbelas. Turn off the screen, if it was la pantalla, right? Apágala. Okay? The project, do it. Haz, if we go back to the regulars here, right, is the command. Hazlo. You just stick it on the end. All right, so you're going to pause again and do a couple examples. If it was your phone, and I said leave it in your backpack. To leave behind is the verb. And the other one is going to be fix them. They are computers. Los portátiles, fix them. Right, both of those verbs are on the second page of your vocab. Pause it and put those in your notes. Okay, we're done doing all the rules for afirmativo. All right, those are all telling people to do things. Now we're going to move on to the negativo, telling people not to do things. All right, forming it is a little more complicated. So what do you need to do? Well, you put a no in the front. That makes sense, right? When you're saying don't do something. The verb, you got to take the yo form in the present. Okay, so I've done that with each one of these verbs here. Olvido, hago, escribo. Okay? And you're going to take that yo form and you're going to drop the o, right? So we would have that up through the o, right? Get rid of the o. We're going to put a different ending on there. The other ending is going to be the to form, or you can see these all end in s, but it's with the opposite vowel. So if it's an AR verb, it's going to be an E. If it's an ER verb, A. IR verb, also going to be A. All right, so we end up with no olvides, no hagas, right? Opposite ending, but based off the yo. All right, no escribas. Right now in your notes, I'd like you to write two verbs. Write don't change and don't break. You can pause it. Again, both of these verbs are on the second page of your book. All right, now we're going to do the reflexivos in the negative. Okay, so the rules we just talked about still apply. We're just going to add something to that, right? You're still going to start with the yo and drop the o, and put the opposite to ending on here. That you can see what they look like on the bottom here. The difference is we're just going to take the te, right? Because it is you, so it's tu, right? Instead of sticking it on the end, like levantate, siéntate, ponte in the affirmatives, they're going to go in the middle. Kind of where you would expect them to be in front of the conjugated verb. Okay? So no te levantes, no te sientas, no te pongas. You can pause this for a moment now and write two reflexive negative commands. Write don't sign in and don't take a shower. All right. And now the direct object pronouns. All right, I'm going to flip back. When we did reflexivos that were affirmative, we stuck the te on the end. When we did direct object pronouns, we also stuck those on the end. Okay, so they were the same. Here, we've got our reflexives. We put the te in the middle. So similarly, we're going to put the direct object pronoun in the middle, which is where you would expect it to be in front of a conjugated verb. All right, so if we were talking sandwiches, don't eat them, no los comes. If we were talking about, I don't know, a battery, don't find it. I don't know why you would ever say that, but that's what it says. All right, no lo hagas, don't do it. Like, I don't know, a project, no lo hagas. Okay? Okay, so you can pause again. I'd like you to write two short commands like this, telling people not to do things. Okay? So one is going to be a cable, right? A cable. And you're going to say, don't plug it in. The verb is on the front page. Don't plug it in. And it's el cable. Okay, next one we're talking about a mochila. Okay, and you're going to tell the person, don't open it. And it's a mochila, a backpack. Okay, last, certainly not least, we've got some exceptions. Okay? These are often lumped together as cargar-zar verbs. Why? Because they're all going to be AR verbs, and they're either going to end in GAR, CAR, or ZAR. These just have a spelling change. If you're saying it, for example, buscar, opposite, vowel ending would be ES, and you say busques, it's going to sound right. However, if you wrote that with a C, it would make it a soft C, and it would end up saying buses. So in order to say busques, it needs to change to a Q, like K. Right? Busques. Same thing with cargar, it just adds a U in there, otherwise it would be carges. No, we want it to be cargar, cargo, carges. Okay, we need a U in there to keep it a hard G. Same thing, for whatever reason, the Z just changes to a C when it's a soft sound in front of the E. All right, so you have no empieces. The same thing happens when you like make the word lapis or luz plural. It becomes luces, lapises, changes to a C. It's just a spelling thing. All right, so this is just a more of a pronunciation rule than anything. It's not really irregular technically. This happens again in couple of other forms when we do the past tense and when we do subjunctive down the road. This happens again, so if you get used to this cargar-zar, oh, when the vowel flips, I need to do something weird. That'll be helpful for you down the road. All right, at this time you're going to go to conjuguemos, conjuguemos.com. Spanish verbs. imperative mood down here. Imperative, you have to do it, right? It's imperative, that means it's a command. All right, so you've got all different things here, right? So you're just going to click on 2 commands. If you do the frog game, it's actually kind of hilarious because it just gives you one choice. But hey, that's okay. You can see what the right answers are. That's fine. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to graded practice. Okay, and when you customize, you can decide if you want to just do all positives for now. All right, which is fine. And then you can just do the whole list. There might be some irregulars in there that you don't know, but that's okay. It'll just tell you. Okay, or you can just do. Then you can practice your negatives, and then you can kind of say all pronouns and have them be mixed in. Okay. You can turn the timer off if you want as well, but I'd like you to take about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and do some practice. These are some challenging sentences. Work with the person next to you and see if you can put these in Espanol using your vocab and the notes you just took. Buena suerte. Hasta luego.